It's Wednesday, December 8th, 2021. I'm just sitting here and I get this scam call. I get them a lot. At least that's what the caller ID on my phone says. SCAM. And it said, this particular one said something about a vehicle service warranty, again, none of this is clear. I don't know if this is the government scamming the people while they're trying to do stuff elsewhere quietly and away, if this is the local scam. It's really confusing at nothingness. I mean, for the level of human that I've been on this island and what I've been exposed to, there's an airplane, AIRPLANE. There used to be a pilot that would come out of the cockpit and I would fly on something called a Pan Am, PANAM, and the pilot would come out and he'd stand and he'd, be there so we could thank him for safely getting us from New York to Florida or Florida to New York, whatever. And we did. And at some point that changed. But he's a pilot. That's what they called him. P-I-O-L, P-I-O, no, P-I-L-O-T. And then I'm told that in special area, they have people that fly aircraft or fly planes. I don't have a special word for those people. I mean, this is not stuff that they taught my level of human. So without being insulting, I just have not been exposed to, I don't have a word list or a word tree on what's acceptable, what's not. So in my area of least exposure but high exposure, which is a dangerous category, there was an instance where we were doing work on the house and there was what I would say a glad to see you, handsome contractor. He required cash for the service, but he had a business for heating, HVAC, HVAC. So I took the money from my bank account. They gave me currency and cash, and then I paid the service member who has a business license and was allowed to receive such funds. That's one instance. And only the only real time, there's been so few times that people have required cash. But then again, I wasn't, whatever. So, and then there was another instance where when Alexander was little, I had something called a J2 visa service through an agency called Cultural Care that took care of whatever they took care of and screened the nannies, whatever. Then there was just the regular looking for somebody local, which I did as well. And so when I put an ad up and somebody local came in, she said she wanted cash. I said, absolutely not. I said, I will pay you by check, but that is it. She wanted to know if she had two granddaughters and a son, if they could come over and meet my children. I said, absolutely not. I said, your family is your family. They are not welcome in my home. I said, you are welcome in my home, but I do not want to mix business and family life. When I am not here, I am at the office, and when I come home, then you are free to go with whatever you want to do. But for me, with the kids, that is it. So on Sunday night, she'd return usually. So this way she was prepared for Monday morning. On Friday, I would either drive her to the train station, or I would drive her to one location. That was it. And I always wrote a check out of my bank account, my personal bank account. So this way it was FDIC insured. However, it was just that. Because there's a slide going on here. It's like the entire internal cavity, the colon perforated to something in the category of whatever showed up. I don't know how to protect myself. It seems like after years of a colon being perforated and toxicity like accumulating within the New York body cavity, I now have people doing secret whatever, but not informing me in any way. The television is speaking one directive, while apparently whatever is doing things to protect whatever and whatever is writing the opposite. The entire body cavity of New York is totally filling up with perforated colon fecal matter, and it's turning toxic and septic. And now it's becoming a hypoxic situation. So now this becomes difficult between a spirituality want and need of, I really didn't want to hire that person. I didn't even really want to be in that house, nor did I want to be with 1975. However, this disgusting, I have Fidelity insurance, for certain. I don't understand when I have Fidelity insurance and it covers infidelity, which was issued after the forced whatever, in order to get to a colon, during the colon's already perforated and we're turning toxic and septic, trying to make good kids look bad with all sorts of different authorities, knowing how to play the puppet strings just right. It's a disgusting affair. It just is. So now I have to become this breadwinner or bread earner. Feels like a fucking punishment to me, having to be the only one. So Brian Roberts, the glad to see you, I paid him cash directly from my account. 1975 is a useless piece of shit. I told Brian just as much. I never hid the fact that I hated tea for you. If they asked, I told them. So now, that happened. So now there's no like love lost between the two of us. He was a horrible person. And T from 1975 used to always say like, I wish Alex was my son. And he was like creepily wanted to father Alex. I'm like, get away first of all, he's my son. He's an immaculate. He does not need you or the other one in psychopaths. I was like, the two of you, I was like, ugh. So now, there's that. So in order to control a conversation, there is some paper document. There was also an incident where there was some emergency. Her son, Gary, this is Ellen, Ellen. Her son, Gary, Gary, had some kind of heart thing go on in the middle of the night. She needed an emergency ride to go get him or to be next to him or by his side. She was all upset about something. So 1975 was in the house, kids were sleeping. I drove Miss Ellen to Good Samaritan Hospital in West Islip. And then I walked her into the hospital. We walked into the hospital. I asked if she wanted me to sit with her or proceed with her. If she, again, this is not my family member, this is my employee for whom I was whatever. So, there's that line that I always, and wall that I built that I was very careful about staying behind. So now she said no, she wanted me with her. Fine. So then she gets to go see Gary, and I said, again, I could wait in the waiting room, or do you want me to come with you? If he's in whatever, I don't want to go into his personal space. If he's uncomfortable, I said, why don't you ask him if he wants me there, or if it's okay that I walk in, because I don't want to be in his personal space with him in a compromised position or whatever. And so she did. And she said, no, he said it was all right. I said, all right. So I walked to wherever it was in the emergency room, and they spoke in their language that I don't speak and I don't understand. And his girlfriend or wife was there. And that was it. So I just waited. And then when Miss Ellen was ready to leave, I took her back to the house. And the next day, she watched the children. And then there was something where Miss Ellen needed to go to the hospital and she needed a ride back. Something had happened to her. It fell on her birthday or whatever. So on that occasion, we did go to the hospital to see her as well to make sure she was all right. So that's the extent of that. As far as I guess transaction, because for the most part my having to bread earn was dealt with check currency, CHECK, on a paper instrument or document of some sort covered by FDIC, and it normally went to the broker, and then the broker, I as his independent contractor, he was the umbrella, I then was paid directly in whatever. So there's always that layer of whatever. The problem seems to be, though, that in this New York area, there are no way to check, that I'm aware of, who is, like in a big corporation, they can do background checks. They don't offer a background check service to the public in an affordable sense. Cultural Care Au Pair required almost $10,000 just to do the background check and secure the visas and stuff for international. When I had it, or I attempted to have it, I paid for it. I did not have that when I was in later on in situation, as I get squeezed more and more, and I have all of these really horrible situations erupt. Yesterday, there was a local boy, my son's age, Anthony Tiafria, 2012, which is Cat Scratch 3. We went to the local park. It was an open, exposed park out in the New York Bayside area. And he painted an ornament with his friend, Conrad. And Conrad's mother was very kind. She brought some little food or whatever for the children. that is the type of birthday party I'm used to. Not necessarily in a big open public space, but that's what it looks like at the parents' homes with the children of the class of whatever my kids were in. Diafrio 1975's idea of birthday party was a disgusting. I literally hid in a bathroom until he finally got himself prepared to drive me home because I didn't have my keys. I didn't know where I was. I was disoriented and I didn't want to be there. That crowd. One girl that Nora knew was up against a glass door, hugging and licking the door she was the birthday girl, and she was a full-grown adult. I'm like, this is disgusting. These are the people you hang out with. I mean, it was a complete shock to me. And then it was like, uh-oh, how do I get this douchebag out? These are the things. I'm an only kid. I don't exactly have people to rely on. It's a big problem for me. And I don't see humanity doing a fucking thing to make my life easier. Star 1978, Star 8378, Nicole Cateruza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken.